Today's fairy tale is called The Four Skilful Brothers. There was once a poor man who had 4 sons. When they had grown up, he said to them, "My dear children, you must now go out into the world, for I have nothing to give you. Go abroad and learn a trade, and see whether you can make a living." So the 4 brothers took their sticks, said farewell to their father, and traveled off together. After some time, they came to a crossroads that branched in 4 different directions. The eldest said, "Here we must separate. But on this day, in 4 years' time, we will meet again at this very spot. In the meantime, we will seek our fortunes." Then each of them went his way. The eldest met a man who asked him where he was going and what he was intending to do. "I want to learn a trade," he replied. Then the man said, "Come with me and be a thief." "No," the eldest answered, "that is not a reputable trade, and it ends with swinging on the gallows." "Oh," said the man, "you need not be afraid of the gallows. I will teach you to steal things no one else could, and no one will ever detect you." The eldest brother was talked into it and became an accomplished thief. He was so dexterous that nothing he was desired was safe from him. But what happened to the second brother? Well, he met a man who asked him what he wanted to learn in the world. "I don't know yet," the second brother replied. "Then come with me and be an astronomer. There is no better profession, for nothing is hidden from one who can see the stars." The second brother liked the idea and became such a skillful astronomer that his master gave him a telescope and said, "With this you can see everything on earth or in heaven. Nothing can be concealed from you." Well, a huntsman took the third brother into training and gave him excellent instruction. Once he was experienced, the huntsman gave him a gun and said, "It will never fail you. You are certain to hit whatever you aim at." The youngest brother, the 4th, also met a man who inquired what his intentions were. "Wouldn't you like to be a tailor?" the man asked. No, I don't think so," said the youth. "Sitting doubled up from morning till night, driving the needle backwards and forwards, doesn't appeal to me." "Oh, but you are speaking in ignorance," answered the man. "With me you would learn a very different kind of tailoring, one that is useful, honorable, and full of interest." The youngest brother let himself be persuaded and went with the man to learn his art. When they eventually parted, the man gave the youth a needle and said, "With this you can sew together whatever you are given, whether it is as soft as an egg or as hard as steel, and it will all become one piece, so that no seam will be visible." When the 4 years were over, the 4 brothers arrived back at the crossroads, embraced each other, and returned home to their father. "So now," said he, quite delighted, "the wind has blown you back again to me." They told him that each had learned his own trade. They were sitting in front of their house under a large tree, and the father said, "I will put you all to the test, to see what you can do." He looked up and said to his second son, "Between two branches at the top of this tree there is a raven's nest. Tell me how many eggs there are in it." The astronomer took his telescope, looked up and said, "There are 5. Then the father said to the eldest brother, "Fetch the eggs down without disturbing the bird sitting on them." The skilful thief climbed up and took the 5 eggs from beneath the bird, which never noticed what he was doing, and remained quietly sitting where she was. He brought them down to his father. The father took them, placed them in a row down the table, and said to the huntsman, "With one shot, shoot the 5 eggs in 2, through the middle." The huntsman aimed, and with one single shot broke all 5 eggs as the father had asked. "Now it's your turn," said the father to the 4th son. "You will sew the eggs together again, and the young birds inside them as well, and you must do it so that they are not hurt by the shot." The tailor brought his needle and sewed them as his father wished. Then the thief climbed up the tree again and put the mended eggs back under the bird without her being aware of it. After a few days, the eggs hatched and the baby birds crept out. They had a red line around their necks where they had been sewn together by the tailor. "Well," said the old man to his sons, "you really ought to be praised to the skies. You have used your time admirably and have each learned something that will serve you well. I can't say which of your professions will be the most useful. That will be proved with time and opportunity." Not long after this, there was a great uproar in the country, because a dragon had carried off the king's daughter. The king was deeply troubled. He proclaimed that whoever brought the princess back would be married to her. The 4 brothers said to each other, "Here is a fine opportunity to show what we can do." "I will soon know where she is," said the astronomer, and looked through his telescope. "I see her already. She's far away from here on a rock in the sea, and the dragon is beside her, watching her." He went to the king and asked for a ship for himself and his brothers. They sailed over the sea until they came to the rock where the king's daughter was sitting, with the dragon lying asleep on her lap. The huntsman said, "I dare not shoot the dragon. I could kill the beautiful girl at the same time." "Then I will try my art," said the thief. He crept to the rock and stole the girl from under the dragon so quietly and dexterously that the monster never noticed it, but went on snoring. Full of joy, they hurried off with her, steering the ship out into the open ocean. But then the dragon woke, and finding no princess there, followed the ship, snorting angrily through the air. Just as he was circling about to descend onto them, the huntsman shouldered his gun and shot him through the heart. The monster fell down dead, but was so large and powerful that his fall shattered the whole ship. The 4 brothers and the princess caught hold of planks to keep afloat, but they were in peril on the wide sea, when the tailor took his wondrous needle and with a few stitches sewed the planks together. They all sat on this raft and collected the fragments of the ship. The tailor sewed these so skillfully together that, in a very short time, the ship was once more seaworthy, and they could go home again in safety. When the king had his daughter back safely, there was great rejoicing. He said to the 4 brothers, "One of you can marry her, but you must settle among yourselves which of you it is to be." Then, of course, a heated argument arose among them, as each thought his own trade was the most vital. The astronomer said to his brothers, "If I had not seen the princess, all your arts would have been useless." The thief said, "What would have been the use of your seeing if I had not got her away from the dragon?" The huntsman said, "You 3 and the princess would have been torn to pieces by the dragon if my shot had not hit him." And at last the tailor said, "And if I, by my art, had not sewn the ship together again, you would all have been miserably drowned." The king, listening, pronounced his verdict. "Each one of you has an equal right, and as you cannot all have the princess, one of you shall have her. Instead, I will give each of you a quarter of the kingdom as a reward." The brothers were pleased with this decision and said that was much better than fighting with each other. Each of them received a quarter of the kingdom, and they lived with their father in the greatest happiness as long as it pleased God.